Why has it done that? Right, sorry guys. Hey Stuart, hey Peter, David. We seem to have a vertical screen. I'm not sure why that is. I may have clicked the wrong setting or something. There's a new setting on the, I don't know. There's an update on YouTube. I'm still getting the hang of that. Apologies anyway. Mark Osborne, good day. Oh. Hey Kevin. Anyway, what's happening? Don't know if there's much happening here. It's been a bit of time on this engine on Sunday, a few hours. Terrible lighting in here tonight. We'll try that. That might be better. Let's turn the light on. Stuart's been sick. That's not good. Actually, drilled the 3 holes in the block and tapped them and machined this off sort of to match this for the push rod. We'll have a look at them in a minute, Kevin. Drilled and tapped this and blocked this hole up in here. This, however, isn't, in interest of full disclosure, this isn't real square. Now, the problem is that I should have made this most of this doesn't really matter very much, it just looks bad. But I should have made this before I screwed this on, and then I would have been able to get this straight with the fan or with something else, because there's not very many surfaces on here to actually line this up with. So the only thing that you're really going to notice is this threaded hole in here. And it's not even very much, to be honest. It's probably a degree out or something like that. Bending it doesn't seem to be the answer, so you might block this up and re-drill it while it's on the head. You get that right. Anyway, ME Supplies Victoria haven't been going for a little while, I think. Gives it a handmade look. I'll fix that. That's all. I'll fix it. It just was a bit annoyed when I screwed that in and realised. I don't know if there's anything else really that's even out. I think it might just be that when I've drilled this hole here, because I drilled it undersized and I ended up setting it up just in the vise and re-drilling it again, I may not have got this right. And what I should have done Journeyman Randy, g'day. What I should have done was drilled this hole with this on this block, which is what the setup block's for. Put this in the vise and drilled this and done it. So I might still do that. Probably unscrew a plug in here, pin the end of it over and file it up, and then machine this flat and drill it and tap it. Anyway, we'll see what happens. It's just one of those things that we shouldn't really do, and it happens sometimes. Anyway, that's about all I did, right? Spark plug screws in here. Machine this off. It's going to have a bracket on here and a bracket on here. These need cleaning up a bit. There's a bit of firework here and here. I think that there's a casting area here that's on the drawing that doesn't really show it, so I think there's going to need to be a little bit more machining in the back here. Anyway, that's easy enough to do. I didn't pull the crank out to machine this, and I probably should have, because it got some grit down in here somewhere, and I had to pull it all apart, clean it, and put it back together anyway. So those bearings are sort of the biggest headache on an engine like this, to be honest. I think, so far anyway. But there we go. That's what we did. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this board, which is the name board for the roller. Basically, it's just a matter of filling this nicely. I've used plastic filler on this. I don't know if that's probably the best, but it's the hardest work. But it should be all right. You just can't see a lot of gaps along here yet now. Like the join marks are pretty well filled up. It will get it right. A coat of paint on it or two. Be all right. That's just backed with plywood. It's a 3D print that's backed with plywood. So I want to get that cast. And a couple of other patterns. One for one of these from a mate who's got a roller who really needs one. We'll have a look at that pattern in a minute. And the lever for this. The lever that's actually on it is all sorts of ugly. As you can see, these holes are slogged out and they're not in line or anything. This has been welded here at some point because obviously someone never had quite a big enough bit of brass. This is just welded on here, sort of turkey dirted together with a bit of nickel bronze or something. This is a really ugly shape, and as a consequence it wears, like there. It's also rattly that way. So this is also undersized in the fork. It's rattly this way because this should be a bit wider here on the bottom. And it hasn't really got the right bend in it. It's got a very ugly bend in here, and the bend really should be here on the corner. So we've got another one of them made up. We'll get one cast in gunmetal. Anyway, they're the things that we're working on. Other thing I did most of Tuesday, I had Tuesday off and spent most of yesterday just sign painting. We'll go out and have a look at these because, yeah, they'll stand a bit looking at, and I haven't managed to get any decent photos yet, so they look better on video. Let's go out the backyard. Pass the vacuum cleaner and the extension cord. Joe's been plastering the workshop. There we go. Some renovations happening. As you can see, we're in renovations. Coffee and biscuits, g'day. Hey stranger. And Ross, g'day. You probably shouldn't attend the live stream, Ross. Here we go. You shouldn't attend the live stream. There's too many big ideas floating around, and you're young and impressionable. And I don't want to be responsible. That's my sign box anyway. I guess you've seen that. Everyone's seen that. Could do with another coat of paint on the top, I think, at some point. At some point. Anyone who's in Australia, start a YouFoods subscription because it's fantastic. Kind of so far enjoying it. So there's a box come. Anyway. This is these. Oh my gosh. They should be well and truly dry now. Should have thought of this earlier. We'll put them over here. On the grass. Here we go. Hey James. So I don't know if we can even see this against the black background. Got a bit of a red block on it and a bit of a white block to give it a bit more depth, just a bit subtle. And a red stripe around, or a bright round, and it is a bright red stripe, but you don't notice it quite so much on the black. Some fairly ordinary script. Actually, it's not terrible. I've done worse script. Now, there wasn't enough room on this board for the word steam in the same script, so that's what we ended up with, and I've just gone around that in red. I don't know if you can see that. Not real well on the camera. So there's two of them. They're ready to go back on. They should be all right. I wanted something that, let's talk design briefly. I wanted something that looked working clothes, right? And looked period. But I also wanted something a bit showy. Like I didn't really want just a plain block writing along there. And I didn't really want anything that was like full on English fairground writing. I wanted something sort of in between, so that's what we got. And I think they'll be all right. They should be good. I'll get some pictures this weekend when we get them bolted on the roller and see how they look. I don't think they should be terrible, to be honest. And the other ones, well, it's upside down, but it's pretty much the same. So pretty happy with that. I only mix it up a bit too. It's not really wanted a sampler, but I wanted the mould to be a little bit sort of to sort of string together okay, but I really had to make some of this smaller, so that's why I've mixed them up a bit. Hey Craig, g'day. Anyway, they're sorted and they're ready to go back on, I hope. They're fairly simple. We've just put gaps in the pinstripe around the writing there. Anyway, that's what we did. So, I've got another, I think I've got another striping job to do this weekend. I'm actually, we're going to Shenandoah for a working bee maintenance day, whatever you want to call it. There's stuff to do with the roller. I've got to get these back on. I had other intentions to get bits back on the roller, but we weld up that water tank and a few things like that need doing. And I think I've got to probably run some pinstripes on a couple of brand new locomotives that come out of Leeds Engineering, which is Dan Shedd's company, who've just outshopped a couple of nice little 040 tank engines in 16mm scale. So that'll be an interesting striping job because they're all tiny and the longest stripe on them is about 4 inches. So we'll see how we go with that. Not feeling all that convinced about it, but we'll take some lining pins and things and see how we go. In fact, lining pin might be the way to do it rather than the bugler. The colour scheme is pale green. They're forest green or, gosh, not even forest green. They're sort of a pale sea mist sort of a green. It's quite a nice colour. Not even sea mist. Probably about the colour of that wheelie bin, with black and red trim. So I think they're going to get a red and a white stripe around them, something like that. Hey Don. Hey John. I think that's the colour scheme for them. This poor old box needs a repaint on top, but some poor paint brushes. Lots of paint. This will go with me, I guess, this weekend. So that's a plan. I might try and get some footage of that too, or some actual bit of a video about doing those two locos and putting these up and a few other jobs we've got to do. Try and get a video. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be a fairly busy weekend. But it seems every day now is sort of a busy day or a busy weekend. Walk back through the construction site here. I can lock that in a minute. We've got Jones and Shipman plain bearings here. They're quite a bit worn. And hey Dan. He's turned up. These are quite a bit warm and they're probably fixable, to be honest. And if it was my grinder, I would probably sort it out and fix it, but he's got other ideas, so we'll see how we go with that. It's all right, Dan. We were talking about you, not to you. So watch this space for bits on this. It's sort of, I'm not convinced about it, but anyway, I might become convinced about it at some point. We'll go back out because Dan will want to see these. He hasn't seen them yet. Really? Sorry, guys. We'll go over this again because some people can't be on time. There you go, fridge. They should be alright. We're in the dark. See, the colour doesn't really pop. They look a bit less yellow and a little bit more tame than the bright yellow. Had a meeting. Okay. So these are coming up all right. So they had to go on the roller this weekend. And we've got a couple of Dan's locomotives that he really should make a video about, which he doesn't, to letter or a line, I think, this weekend too. So that'll be a job. Might rather make a good start on them and run some line around them anyway. See how we do. So 2 of them, 1 for each side. Pretty happy with them actually, the way they come up. I think they're going to be really nice. Might be a bit bright, but they'll be alright. Anyway. So, that's what we're working on. Oh crap, I was going to grab these. I thought that's why I'd come out here right straight away early. Come back through the disaster zone. Saw bearings and shaft are in the back of the van. They probably won't come with me because it's a bigger job than I took on. I took on a bigger job there than expected. But anyway, we'll get them. It's not for want of making progress. It's just for want of spare time and want of direction that they haven't been done. We'll get there. So, this is still in the process of being finished, but this is what the drawing says that should look like. So we'll take that down to Shenandoah and make sure this fits. Looks like it's going to line up. But that should be a little bit neater and tidier and a better fit and stuff. There's a bit of machining allowance on this, but that fits. Sort of supposed to fit in this fork. We're going to have to do something about this fork too. No, you're doing good. I'm learning a lot as we go. Following along. Talk about what you like. So this has got to do something about this because it's been cracked for a long time, as you can see there. I need to sand back another coat of paint. And because there's always someone who's got an engine that hasn't got bits on it that you're messing around with, this is a new pattern. which actually goes that way around. Last minute panic there. Did I say they were done? No, I didn't say they were done. I didn't give any indication about the state of them. I guess you're talking about the saw bench bearings then. And sorry, fridge, but it's not because I've just been sitting in the back ignoring them. There's progress on them, but there's still the final machining job to do. John's slowly becoming a conspiracy theorist over there, and that's awesome. But it's a slippery slope. There's a fair bit of work in those bearings, and they're out in the back of the van. We're going to have to line bore them, and we're going to have to do them on a milling machine or in between centres on a lathe. And you've got to get all the bits together to make a jig to do either way. But we're not sort of just sitting around, and there is progress on them, and they will happen. And they'll happen fairly quickly, but we've just got to get all the mounts and things ready for them so we can bolt them down. Stuff like that. Leaks to fix. What did you pressure test it to, John? So anyway, these need a bit of fill around the corners still, and a coat of paint, time for the paint to dry. And I'll get one of these cast for Mark. I'm turning this in the forger over here. No, it's not a very difficult thing. This is pretty straightforward. It's not a complicated thing at all. It's just got a thread on here, and a thread on here, and it's drilled through there and through there, and then it's got a little screw-in flange on the centre there. So whether these holes actually line up both ways probably doesn't matter. This one's not. Theoretically, these holes should line up with the ports in the middle, but they don't really. They line up with the holes in the casting. Am I going to do this in the chuck, or I'm probably going to give it to someone else to do? Not my problem once I got one cast. If I was going to do it, I'd put it on an angle plate to machine this. I think I'd put it on an angle plate on the face plate to drill that one right through. And it is right through with the thread lines up in the other end. So it's going to be a fun thing to machine. But anyway, not my thing. So these bits are the bits that I need to fix. I'm probably not going to re-weld this lug back on here, like this little rabbit here, because it's just crap. To be honest, it's all brittle and it's got some crappy weld material in it, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how I'd go fitting anything to it. That's just the pattern. That's the original there. I'm not going to get a new one cast. That's awesome, John. Can't wait for steam. What I'm probably going to do with this is get it end cast in bronze, chop it off here, and braze it together and machine it. So that job's done. I think that's what I'm going to do. I do have a works drawing for this bit, so yeah, eventually. And if I cast one of these for Mark Goff, who's got a T-Series Fowler roller here in Brisbane. That's just a plastic pattern. It's 3D printed. It's got a T-series Fowler roller, Mark's T3 roller, I think on Facebook, Mark's Fowler roller. Anyway, he hasn't got that bit. And of course, if you show pictures of this apart on Facebook, everyone says, hey, look, can you sort of send me some pictures or drawings or whatever, tell me about this. And I thought, well, it's easier for me to draw it up than measure it up and then send a hard map that no one can follow. And I'm going to Foundry, so it won't cost much more to get 2 of these casts because I need one. And 1 of these casts and probably this nameplate cast at the same time when I go. And we're sorted. So there we go. That's what's happening. The engine's sitting over there and I won't get anything done this weekend. I did get a little bit done this last weekend. We've already sort of been through that. Anyone who was here at 8 o'clock. But anyway, head's bolted on. This is all machined off. That's all we've done. Oh, I did reface that gear so they line up because they didn't before. That's something else I've done. Also pulled all this apart, cleaned it and put it back together so it ran free again after it got a chip in one of these holes. So I've done that. It's a bit of a work in progress. Apart from that, I've got car registration due and needs a service at some point. I've got a couple of club memberships to renew. I've got roller registration that's just been paid, and I'm sort of thinking if I don't spend too much money on this project at the moment, it'd be a very good thing. So I'm just doing stuff that that's not costing any money that we've got all the bits in stock for, which is good. Anyway, Joe's been on school holidays and he's played a lot of computer games. I don't know what else he's done. I think he's been looking at the Surface Grinder today, but I mean, looking at it doesn't really count. I think that's all it gets is looking at it. Bench grinders in the boot of the car. Put your fuel consumption down a bit. If you empty the boot of the car occasionally. I see Stefan's posted a spoiler or a teaser for a low profile indicator holder. His indicators holder's all right, but when you've got a major part in the dividing head standing up on end, in my mill you run out of room. So this is a very interesting thing. Thought I'd get another block of this aluminium somewhere sometime. Something stuck, Ross. Crowbar. If you get a drill and a tap, an 8th BSB or quarter BSB tap, and drill a hole in the back of the boot somewhere on the top, and tap it and screw a grease nipple in, then you could just fill it up with grease and pop the boot open. I'm just putting that out there as a good idea. Maybe that's an answer. I find that works. You need a fair bit of grease. When a close personal friend of mine moved away, when we were living in Hobart years ago, and he moved back to Western Districts, Victoria, for a job, and I had every intention of following him, and I did follow him. He had a couple of fairly solid steel wooden toolboxes, dovetailed ends, about, I guess, in black and white money, 12 inches by 12 inches by about 3'6" long, with rope handles, basically full of hand tools. And they were packed in as tight as he possibly could. He was a builder, or carpenter, or joiner, whatever, cabinet maker, coach builder, whatever. And they were pretty full. But the night before he left, we cracked it off and bought, or well, I cracked it off. I may have had something to do with cracking the tops off them and filling them up with about as much rice as could possibly go in. And it's a whole lot more rice than you would think to fill up all the cracks. Like 5 or 6 kilograms of it, probably more, in each box. And closed them up and put the padlocks back on them. And he took them home and then took them to work at the new job and opened them up, and I believe it took a bit of getting them clean again. So that's completely off topic, but anyway, it's not a very nice practical joke to play on people, or on absent life partners at that stage. Yes. Anyway. Yes, I see what you mean. Craig, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to have to look into that. The Stefan one generally does the job, but you lose a couple of inches. Anyway, he's got a low profile one that he's been messing with. That might be the thing. Anyway, well, before I got sidetracked, I'm going to get another bit of aluminium. I've got this. Which hasn't had enough work lately. It's a bit rusty. But I knew someone who did. Yeah, we drifted apart, but it was years later, Craig. It was years later. I remember someone doing a very similar thing to Bruce Witham with an iCAD battery and an air cylinder and a solenoid and some packing beads and a pressure operated switch on the lid of the container. But that's another story. It's probably on YouTube if you want to look it up. But on account of the box full of stuff being much more fun if it explodes itself all over the room. Anyway, I've got this little Sherline rotary table, which is excellent. And rather than my dividing head, which is this tool, right, when you fold it up and stand it on end with the 3-jaw chuck on it, which leaves about this much room under the quill, which is a bit of a problem. I figured that I probably should use this. And find an aluminium block, something like this, that I could mill with some hold down bolts to fit the mill, and probably a slot in it, and screw this on it permanently so that it's easy to move on and off the mill, and use this a bit more often for work. So that's a project that probably needs doing at some point. This box aluminium at the dealer with the supply is pretty cheap out of their scrap bin. I think a few months ago this cost me like $11. So that's probably the answer. Don't know. Something that needs doing. Anyway, that's where we're at. They're the things that we're working on at the moment. I'm sort of there seems to be not enough time in the day to actually get anything done, but we're getting there. Did manage to get some high-speed steel, which was awesome. Had trouble with that. Got these 2 little tool holders, which Stefan got me to build, actually. His work. These are really nice. I like them a lot. I've got a left and a right hand one. And they take 4mm high-speed steel, which is great. Nice and solid. It's just how they go together in 2 pieces there. I would say that he's probably got drawings on his website if you want to go and make a couple. But these are really nice. But finding 4mm high-speed steel is a bit of a thing. It has been for a while. Anyway, I picked some up. So we got tools back in these, which is another job that... Actually, I said I had a left and a right-hand one. I've got 2 right-hand ones. There you go. This one's apart, so we can sort of see how it works. This horizontal screen's a bit of a pain. I apologise for that. Take care, Craig. Don't be a stranger. Say hello to the family. So these are pretty straightforward. I think anyone can make these. Basically, they're just machined. A bit of clearance in the back here. And they've got a slot through here. And then a deeper slot here and a deeper slot here, and a hole's tapped in there. That's all it is. When I look at the profile, that's sort of what they're like. So yeah, I've got 532 and it does the job. But even that's not very difficult to find. Not very easy to find. Anyway, there's a slot there for the high-speed seal, and a retaining or locating slot for the cover. And then the cover is basically just this piece with a slot through it. And it's got that clamps on. Oh my gosh, we've got to... Oh, we're over this side, sorry. So that just sits on there, and that clamps on top there like that. So, pretty nice little holder. I reckon these are tool steel and they're probably hardened within an inch of their life and all those sort of things. But I don't think it'd be a very difficult thing to make them. Be an interesting project too when you're looking for another project. Update on this engine. Right, this is right in the middle of the workshop here. This is my Bay of Peacock doggy pump engine, which is something I'd like to get on and do a bit more too, but I'm going to move some studs out of it and going to make a puller. We've got one half made. It's just a matter of spending some time to fix it, and I haven't got there yet. So still waiting for the Science Museum to come up with some drawings. They said it'd be 4 to 5 weeks, and it's been 6, so I probably should text them and say, hey, look, where are they? But there's no great rush on that. Other things to do first. So that's sort of the update. We need some belts for this lathe, and we're still looking at that. I'd like to be able to get this stuff, but I've got no idea where to even find it. It's a good belt and it lasted pretty well, but this one's starting to look pretty ratty. This one here is still very, very good, really. And I've cut the second one off here, which is the reversing belt, to make up other belts for this. So not really ideal yet at the moment. I do have a sort of a plan on something, but I don't know how good it is. More later. Anyway. Dan, if you're still there, Fridge, can you remember what we thought we needed that yellow toolbox for at your place? If you can, let me know and I'll bring it. Just while I'm thinking about it. Anyway, I don't know if I've got a whole lot more to add to anything than that. It's been a day at work. Yellow toolbox. We did discuss the usefulness of things, and I said I got that yellow toolbox and I'd bring it down, and we agreed on that one, see? But I can't remember what it was that we were going to put in it. It's not really doing much there, so. Let me know if you can think about it, if you can think of it. It was, we talked about it. we had ideas. It's something to do with the roller or to do with something. It was maintenance gear or something that needed a home. Might have been camping gear or maintenance gear or something. I can't remember, oil cans or something. No, I don't know. Well, you're perpetually drunk, so yes, probably. But I don't think that's pivotal to the story. I don't think that makes any difference to the story. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, that's where we're at. I haven't got anodes. They're still sitting here. I've still got to find some anodes for the tank on that roller. So that's a job for, it might be this week or it might not. Probably won't be. We'll see. There's always lots of things that we could get for the roller, but very rarely happens. Anyway, what else is happening? Rustanox is not in, but he's progressing nicely on his well-positioned machine. This is pretty cool. Really enjoying that series. What else? Who else has got videos out? Yeah, I think we need to weld that. We'll do a decent job of that, Dan. I think I'll bring a decent grinder down because, not that I think your grinder's bad, it's just had to charge it 4 times between grinding that up. And I'll throw the Retabo in and we'll use that. The yellow toolbox wasn't for port. I'm pretty sure it wasn't for port. Could have been for anything. Now, it's another job I meant to do yesterday. I've got a belt, I've got a pulley here for a cement mixer that needs boring out, and that didn't happen. So we've got to set that up on the mill. If it happens tomorrow night, it happens, and I'll bring it down. We can get the cement mixer working, but it might not. We'll see. Who else is making stuff in the workshop? Why do we need a toolbox for port? Anyway. James is making a mess. He does it so gracefully. Ross is moving, poor guy. Looks like it's well underway. Stuart's cleaning up and making a mess again. I had a bit of a clean up the other day, but that was as far as it went. You're making progress, Ross. That's awesome. It looks like it's going to be a nice little engine. Bed is next. The thing is about port and other types of fortified beverages. Something that they stumbled on early on with the manufacture of the stuff is that it comes in its own sort of fairly secure container. So that's what makes me think that yellow toolbox to keep it in might be superfluous. label maker in hand. I've got label maker, but I feel like it makes it a bit of a prat. Anyway, really appreciate the catch up, guys. I haven't got much to say, to be honest. Take care, Journeyman Randy. I haven't got much to say, so I'm probably going to sign out. Appreciate everyone tuning in, saying hello, all that sort of stuff. It's awesome. And I might try and get a video this next coming weekend if we get a chance. We'll see how we go with that, but don't hold me to it. David, g'day. Anyway, that's what's happening around here. It feels like I've been flat out for weeks and doesn't feel like I've achieved a whole lot. But anyway, we're getting there. Thanks, guys. I'm out. Be kind to each other and more soon.